The poet John Keats once warned about that science would unweave a rainbow. But I'm not so sure. I mean, even if we could parse, measure, predict, and quantify everything in a rainbow down to the innards of each proton and the underbelly of every quark, what would that prove other than we better understand the natural laws that God used to create the rainbow? That's all it proves, So why does the rainbow appear in the sky? Because the angle the water hits the droplets, right? Okay. But why do the water hit the droplets and the angle and the rainbow appear that way? Well, it has to do with the specific way light is made. Okay, but why is light made in such a way that when it interacts with water, it spreads these colors out there? Well, it has to do with how light waves act. Okay, but the light and white waves act like that when they interact with water at this certain angle. Well, it's because light waves just act that way. Why? Well, they just do, okay? And then you could argue one step further. They do because God made them that way. That's just as valid as any of these other directions that people want to go in. And I remember one time I was talking to a physicist, and I asked him about one of the questions about general relativity, which is really a theory of gravity. And I tried to, the idea with general relativity is that mass bends space and time, and objects fall because they're falling through the curvature of space. Fine, but I try to ask him, why does we do that? And you keep going, well, because of this and because of that. Well, why does that do that? Because of this and because of that. And he finally said that physicists have a saying that says, gravity pulls me to the earth because gravity pulls me to the earth. That's about as far as ultimately, you're going to wind up almost with any scientific explanation. That's ultimately where you're going to come up. At some point, your why comes to a dead end. But again, where is the why answer to the rainbow? We have lots of hows. Yes, it's fascinating that light and water mix as they do, and it creates a wonderful phenomena. That explains some of the hows of the rainbow. But why? Why is it the nature of light waves and water waves when they interact to do that? Well, because science says they do this and they do that. But why do they do that? Well, because of this and that and that on. Those are the hows. And at some point, the hows ultimately stop. But if you want the why, I would say why water and air and light do that, because they do that because God created our world in such a way that when sunlight and mist are in right relationship to each other, the mist breaks up the light by reflecting it at different angles, and that create bands of electromagnetic waves, which when reaching our eyes, laminate our eyes with the image of the rainbow in our head. That's why, and he did it because he wanted to give us a covenant sign. He wanted to promise us, to show us that he's never going to destroy the world with a flood again.